What's up, everybody? Welcome to another A to Geeks. Zilla and I just went to go see Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, and we have some thoughts, so we're going to give you a review after. But first,
we'll be letting you know whether you should or shouldn't see that movie in theaters.
So without further ado,
let's kick things off, shall we?
Alright, so kicking things off, whether you've seen the movie or you haven't seen the movie, we wanted to let you know whether it's worth seeing it in theaters. Because honestly, to me, this was a no-brainer. But after seeing it, I have some feelings. But first, before we dive into the reasons why you shouldn't see it in theaters, let's give you some reasons why you should. First off, graphics and sound don't get much better than going to see it in theaters, especially us. We saw it in AVX, which is awesome. IMAX probably would have been better, but we only had a few time slots available, and AVX was the best one to do. So that's the one we went for. But regardless, ScreenX, AVX, IMAX, whatever you want to see, you can see it on a massive screen with crazy audio. And if there was ever an anime that deserved to be seen in that way, it's Demon Slayer.
Slicing their heads off, demons, and it's just phenomenal to get that experience in the theater. That's like a make it or break it, because we can't listen to that movie as loud as we would like to in our homes. not everybody's able to, you know what I mean?
I got 3 kids, I'm listening to that very quiet.
Exactly. The theater, it's there, it's loud, it's like boom, it's like wow, you really feel it. And the emotions. Oh, the voice actors are great.
Yeah, the voice actors are amazing. And honestly, jumping between the 3 different art styles actually, is just crazy in this show. It's one of the reasons why I read the manga after season 1, completed the series, and I still can't get enough of this show, because even though I know the story, no spoilers, don't worry, even though I know the story, I'm, seeing it is a whole other level. So that's why I definitely recommend you going to see it in theaters.
And I double down on that.
Next up, if you're a fan of collectibles, they had 2 cups, a popcorn bin, and the popcorn bin wasn't one of those fancy ones.
Not like the Dune one.
Naughty. So don't get your hopes up. But they're still collectibles, and they're still really cool. I don't like collectibles at all.
Meh, I don't mind. It really depends, actually.
I was making a joke because I collect a ton of shit.
Right over my head. But I'm sure everyone else got that.
To be fair, he didn't see me doing this. Right?
I didn't. I was looking. I was focused. I was locked in. Nice.
Last but definitely not least was going to see it with a bunch of people. Now, this was sick. We had some people. First of all, the place was packed. We had some people standing up and clapping at the end of the movie. And it was just a great time throughout. But all in all, it was just really, really cool seeing many, many generations going to see an anime movie. Like, you would only get that with, like, Pixar or other things. But no. We get anime movies doing that these days, which is fire.
It's a level up. That's all I can say about that. People came there with their cosplays on, it's like,
facts,
wow.
Yeah, facts,
it's just like a whole community coming together.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in essence, it's almost like a Marvel movie. Like when Endgame came out and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's just nice to see that type of hype revolve around an anime, and the fan base is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And they all show up together.
And an anime that was an anime movie that you had to see the rest of Demon Slayer. It's direct canon. Like there's no filler here. Like it is straight canon. So all of these people have seen the rest of Demon Slayer, which is just sick.
Might I just add, I actually have been slacking on it. So like I caught up and I finished it like the day before. I was like, yo, guess what? It's done. Let's get it done.
Off the press.
It was perfect. Loved it.
Alright, so moving on to the reasons why you might not want to see it in theaters, and we might get a little bit dicey here, but numero 1, budget. If you ain't got the coins, that's fine. Budget is tight for a lot of people, so if you don't have the funds, or you're already paying for something else, or you rip it online, which I don't encourage, but hey, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it.
Support
it. If you like seeing this stuff, you have to support it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. Number 2, you have a crazy setup at home already, and a lot of people nowadays, especially after the pandemic, they invested heavy into that home setup. And listen, I still stand by, you will not get better sound or picture as you would in a movie theater, But you do get that privacy, and maybe you want to get your group of friends together to watch it and stuff like that. So I get that. But still, I still recommend going to see it in theaters for this reason anyways. But maybe you don't.
And last but not least...
And this one might get a little bit dicey with some of you, but this felt like binge watching a ton of episodes rather than a movie. All right? The last movie, the train one, felt like a movie. Even though it was straight up from the anime, pulled from the anime, straight canon, it felt like a movie. They cut it a little bit tighter. That's why in the episodes you got afterwards, there was a little bit more within it. But this one just didn't. It just felt like I was binge watching a ton of episodes with no option to opt out, with no end credits to kind of make me feel like I was on a cliffhanger and I had to see the next one, which, you know, this movie made me realize really matters when binge watching. I didn't realize that in the past.
Okay.
But that is another reason why I wouldn't go see this in theaters and I would wait to see it at home, because you kind of pace yourself with it. But you felt a bit different.
A little bit.
All right, so without further ado, let's dive into what we actually thought about the movie. So tell me, to kick things off, why didn't you feel that way?
I didn't feel like it was a bunch of episodes, as
Yeah.
in like the 30 minutes, you know? It's
Okay.
more like once you start the season, there's the 40-minute episode or an hour, or at the end of the season, an hour episodes. It just felt
That's
like
true.
a long episode. You know what I mean? That's what it felt
Well, that's
like.
kind of what I'm saying.
No, but,
So you do agree.
yeah, but not like, okay. You know how the movie could have been broken down into, like, let's say 9 episodes.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it was a full
right?
season. It felt like a full season of the anime.
I'm saying, like, those are just like 2, 3 max long episodes put together, rather. So like it's like a short movie because you got the character breakdown. You know,
so
the first half was this dynamic we're following. You know, because I'm not sure if we're spoiling. For
No,
you.
we're spoiling. We're spoiling.
Yeah, so the first half was the first ass whooping. The second Hashira. The second
Poison
second
Hashira.
level. No, the second
The upper
level.
second, yeah,
The upper
two,
second. There
yeah.
we go. I'm troppy right now. But you know, it was like that whole battle, and it deserved the time it took. So it was like a first episode breaking down, like, even though she's a Hashira, the upper 2 is on a different level, or just for that
was
specific one. You know,
He
like,
was so sadistic. It was crazy.
kind of
Like,
creepy.
yeah, kind of a lot creepy.
It was wild.
Yeah,
you know?
it was sick.
And then the second half was the next type of battle.
Yeah.
You know? Oh my gosh, with Zenitsu? Come on, are you crazy? Oh, that was...
Bro, that's my guy. That's my guy.
You know
I was
what I
rocking
mean?
my Zenitsu shirt and everything. Yeah.
He did. He was showing full support. I came in a Venom suit, a shirt, because that's all I had. But it's okay. We support no matter what.
Yes, sir.
And then, so, like, you had that first half. Then the second one was Zenitsu. And then the other one with Tanjiro. So, like, 3 movies. You know what I mean? Oh, to me, it was, 3 long episodes.
So, yeah, I agree. 3 mini movies, like you said, like the 3 longer form episodes. And I agree with that, but that's actually part of the thing that I wish they didn't do. Like, that was a low light for me. And the reason for it is because if they had just taken the 3 different arcs, because you're right, it was, and not like traditional movie arcs, because each of these had their own arcs. Yeah. So if they had just taken those 3 and kind of sliced them up a little bit throughout, maybe not go all the way to Tanjiro, but maybe by the time we get to Zenitsu, we're cutting to the last one with Tanjiro, right? And kind of going back and forth between those 2, and then, you know, starting off with the Poison Hashira against the upper 2, and then kind of mixing that in with Zenitsu a little bit and whatnot, it would have felt better. It wouldn't have felt like just binge watching an entire season. Because I still feel like it, like, I get what you're saying, and I see your point. And it absolutely had those 3 arcs. So, like, you had, you know, a beginning and an end for the first one, a beginning and an end for the second one, a beginning and... Well, yeah,
and a long end.
And a very, very, very long end for the third one. But, you know, if they had just diced it up and sliced it together, I felt like you wouldn't have... I feel like it wouldn't have felt like one giant binge watch. It would have felt like an entire movie, but they didn't. They really gave us, like you said, 1 arc, 1 act, 1 full story, 1 second full story, another full story, and then a 3rd full story. And it just dragged on because of that. Because, like, in between each of the stories, because each one was structured and cut together nicely, right? Like, they would go into the battle, they would go into backstory, they'd go back to the battle, they'd go into backstory. There was a little bit of what was coming next with Zenitsu and stuff like that put in, but not nearly enough. And another thing that I really love that they, like, kept throwing into throughout was Kaguya's kids. That was sick. How they were mapping it all out with all the crows and stuff like that. That was fire. Speaking of the crows, though, how is it effective in a battle to have the crows announce that everybody either died or lost? Like, I don't get that. Maybe they could whisper it, you know?
Yeah. Or, I don't know, just send it to the person. But it's just to, like, mid-battle, you know, you're like, okay, let's go to the next. She's dead!
Yeah.
You know, like, you're out of whack because someone comes, someone could die right away,
yeah.
you know?
They know that their numbers are dwindling. They're like, all right, attack.
Mm-hmm. But I also liked a lot the fact that they had the Hashiras and all the soldiers that actually took part of that training.
Yes.
You know, they actually did something. They're actually doing something.
A lot. Yeah.
I thought they were all gonna just die. You know, like showcase the strength, and the Hashiras are like, let's go.
Yeah.
But they're actually like, we got this.
Yeah, it was sick, and that happened multiple times throughout, which I think really reinforced that idea throughout. That like, hey, these guys aren't useless anymore. They're still not up to par with any of the Hashiras, but they're definitely valued members of the Demon Slayer Corps. So.
100%.
That was sick. That's true. That is sick.
It was beautiful.
Okay. Another thing that I really appreciated about the movie was that this movie was extremely serious. I mean, the level of gore was nuts and crazy, and like the upper two being so sadistic, and it wasn't just him, obviously, but it was phenomenal in that sense. But what felt really nice throughout, a nice little palate cleanser, was they would still throw in little comedy skits and stuff like that, and they would jump to like that traditional 2D style where they're kind of like cutouts and stuff like that, and I loved it. Like it was perfect to kind of like get you through this 2.5-hour movie.
So it wasn't just a overkill of tension. It's like, oh, phew, you know, now you could chill a little bit, and then it comes into it like, oh my goodness. It's like, oh shit.
Just when you put your guard down.
Yeah, and like, oof, just the gore.
Yes.
The gore. Some kids were in the theater. I swear, I don't know if their parents knew what was happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the kids were like, oh,
yeah.
Like I was like, bruh.
I don't think the parents, a lot of them at least, didn't watch it with their kids, and their kids like, come on, come see it with me. And they're like, okay. They're like, this is what you've been watching? I thought this was cartoons. It's like, not even cartoons.
Wildness.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wasn't a huge fan of, though, was the fact that like it felt like all of the act, or the majority of the action, was in those first 2 acts, right? Like the back half had action, don't get me wrong, but like there was a lot more going on, and it felt like there was a long pause of action in between the second fight and the third fight. So I just wish that they didn't just shove everything at the beginning. Like I was saying before, like I really would have loved it if they like did a little bit more cutting in between fights and kind of made it feel like a whole entire event instead of just this person fights, then this person wins or loses, then this person fights, then this person wins or loses. Like it really felt like too drawn out. Like it would have been perfect if they would have maybe even moved like some of that stuff that happens after the Zenitsu fight, that really long like story and stuff like that they were telling throughout that. Just fucking move that in between the Zenitsu fight and the Poison Hashira fight. Like, why did they keep so much of the slow stuff for the end? It's like, yo, you're already there for 2 hours. I don't need you to slow down now. I need you to ramp up. And it felt like it was like a movie in reverse. Like, the slow parts were at the end, and the fast parts and the crazy parts were at the beginning.
Oh, that's pretty funny that you say that.
No?
I can definitely see like where you're going at it, you know, just how it is reversed, because it was long at the end.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in a sense with reason, you know, because they were really diving into who this character was and why he was the way he was and why his willpower was so strong that just him being decapitated wasn't even enough.
All right,
you know what I mean?
On that note, why don't we go into each individual fight and kind of like take it fight per fight?
Let's get up in there.
All right, so kicking things off with the Poison Hashira against Upper 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we already spoke about this a little bit, and it was insane. Like, this really, really set a tone I wish the rest of the movie followed. But, like, really for me, the climax was the next fight. But anyways, this fight was sick. Like, it was great to see her have that backstory with her sister, finally find the killer, throw everything she had at him, and it still wasn't enough.
As far as we know.
I mean, She was consumed, like her whole body.
So-
Why would you assume that? Why would you assume that
the
it's not?
only reason why I'm saying
Wait, sorry,
that-
hold up. Do you assume that it's not over, or do you assume that more is going to happen because of that? Like, what are you assuming here?
all I'm saying is that
Okay.
she gave her all, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said it wasn't enough, and I said,
Nah.
as far as we know, for the reason
Mhm.
of she made a little gang sign to the girl at the bottom with her hand before being consumed.
Ah.
Okay, so either
And you don't think that was because they called that out in it? They said that you let her know, and you don't
but
think,
we
think
don't
there was
know
more to
what
that?
we don't know what she knows. This
Okay.
is only part one.
That's true.
And the next chick rolled up, so she knows something. Maybe the girl has some poison in her body. He's absorbing it. He gonna die. We don't know. So that gang.
Well, I know. That's why
Yeah.
I'm not saying shit.
He has no right to say.
Maybe
it.
he's right. Maybe he's totally wrong.
He's read the manga.
Yeah.
I haven't.
It's been a long time since I read the manga. To be fair, like I haven't read the manga since after
Doesn't matter.
season 1, so
I'm here
I'm
for
blurry on some
suspense.
things. But
Suspense. That's all I want.
yeah.
And that's what we get.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, breaking down, I think it was a really sad conclusion to the Poison Hashira story,
It was.
assuming it's a conclusion. And I think that it was a perfect introduction for Upper 2. I don't think we've seen him before, right? This is the first time?
No,
minus
we've
the meeting.
seen him,
Yeah, in the meeting when they all
but-
came together. But like outside of that, we haven't seen him on display like this.
It's nice to see that they, like, the sense of realism's there, and the fact that
The
the
stakes.
urgency,
The
the
stakes
stakes,
are there,
you know, it's like, what the hell? These people are here to kill these demons. Are they gonna do it? No. First woman gets mash up, done, ready for the next.
Yeah, and let's be honest, bro would have been a demon even without being a demon. Like, this guy was idolized since being a child for no reason whatsoever. His parents were making money off of it, and they started a whole cult around him and stuff like that. So whether this guy turned into a demon or not, he was already a human demon, man. Like,
Why?
which is why it made perfect sense why he was so sadistic and why he was so wild. Like, he had no other knob or anything. Like, he was just straight sadistic bloodlust. That's it.
Narcissistic.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Whew.
That was sick. That was a good
Yes.
fight.
It was.
But as you said, though, it's going to conclude in part 2 with the other girl coming up. I'm blanking on her name. I think that's Tanjiro's love interest, right? That was the one that showed up, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure.
We ain't about to go into all that, Mr. Anime. I mean,
That's not nothing to do with
Mr. Manga reader.
No, I mean, I'm talking about the girl that took care of him and stuff like that, and they built a connection there. That was like the only love interest that he's had all story. Unless you fucking count Nezuko as a love interest, and that's his sister,
No,
bro.
that's wild.
Come on.
We don't go there. we leave that out of there. But yeah, there was definitely her. I only watched.
It was her, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't, like, the first couple seasons, whatever. It's just where I left off from. That's where I watched from. So it was after Mugen Train.
Oh,
And that's where I caught up.
That's all of it.
Huh?
That's all of it.
What do you mean that's after?
Mugen Train is literally like after
No.
season 1. It's season 1, Mugen Train, everything else. so,
Yeah.
so you just binged
No, there's season 1, season 2, then Mugen Train.
No. Mugen Train or Mugen, whatever it's called, was the second thing to come out after season 1.
Okay.
At the time that came out was when I bought the mangas.
Wow.
No, right? It had been announced, and I bought the manga because the manga had just completed. Because the manga, if you don't know, completed right after season 1, essentially. So I was like, I can't wait. I waited like a year, nothing,
Damn.
and then I just said fuck it, and I bought it. Sexy, isn't it?
Crazy.
Look at that. Look at that. Ooh.
Very nice.
But yeah, no spoilers. But yeah, I just couldn't wait. So yeah, so you literally binged the whole thing, pretty much.
I messed up. So, like, you're right. Mugen Train. I got to the entertainment district.
There you go. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had to watch from there.
Right.
'cause that
So
was
yeah,
the
it was
last
2
thing I
seasons.
watched.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, cool. So that makes a lot more sense. I was like, bro, you've been waiting. You've been waiting to catch up. Anything else you want to talk about for the initial fight?
First one with that one, Butterfly. No, don't really care too much about that chick. I, for some reason, knew she was gonna die. I knew she was gonna die.
I cared so much about her, man. Like,
she was nice.
She was so sick.
Sorry,
Like throughout the. You don't have to.
No.
It's your opinion.
You're right. She was cool.
Yeah.
She was cool with the poison mist and shit.
All right, so that's everything for the first fight. Let's move on to the second fight, which was. Hard to say it was my favorite fight because it was the shortest fight, but my favorite character. Jordan's about to bust up my kid. Throwing elbows.
Right.
So moving on to the Zenitsu fight. Zenitsu is my favorite character. Now everybody knows why. For a while I'd have to be like, he's a funny guy. Yeah, he's a funny guy. This is the reason why. This was sick. He had an older brother who was a dick. Can't relate at all. Love you guys now. But when I was growing up, shit, we didn't get along so great. But so seeing him go up against his brother and then come up finally do something more than first form, made up his own form, 7th form. That was kind of hinted at too, that he was going to kind of come up with something new when he was talking to Tanjiro about the Hinokami Kagura, right? So that was foreshadowed, and dude, it could, like we were just talking about, you have to see this on the big screen. That move, 7th form, was one of the reasons why you had to see it on the big screen. It was so fire. It literally.
It was. I gotta admit, like, I wasn't expecting that, like, because I used to read the mangas, and then I decided, you know what, I don't want to know ahead. You know, I want to be like in the present and just catch up and get everything. Just you know. Yeah. Whatever they call that.
That did ruin One Piece a little bit for me, so I totally get that. But like Demon Slayer, I still think is like 2 separate things. Like knowing the story does not give you the same effect as watching the show. And I feel that same way about One Piece. Like the show is still much better than just reading the manga, but it's so, once you know what's coming, then it's kind of like a little bit less exciting to kind of, watch it. But I still watch it. I'm still catching up.
It's exciting to see the animation, the animation style around the fight. That's what always stands out.
So
but it's just the element of surprise isn't there, and that's what it was. So like just that factor, for me, that movie stood out even more because I'm like, yo, what? So that's first form. You're just a loser. Second form, third form, fifth form, all that shit. It was dope. And after then, that flaming electric dragon. Oh man, the animation style in this anime.
Yeah, it's bar none. Like, yo, it is so unique. Like, oh man, I can't get over it. That's why also I'm happy that I read the entire manga after season 1. Because I don't remember a lot of it. Like, I went into it totally blank on all stuff. And yeah, some of it came back to me as I was watching. But I was still surprised and shocked by a lot of different things throughout. So, sick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, it was cool. It really was a build-up for him,
Yeah, and I feel like it was straightforward, which I didn't mind. Like, it was pretty much like, hey, you were a dick to our grandfather. He killed himself. And then, I took revenge. Right, but it was knowing who that character was. The build up from the entire series to this moment made it, even though it was a short fight compared to the other stuff, made it extra special.
Yeah, it was his growth as a character.
Exactly,
because we know him to be whimpering all the time. So pretty, baby.
Wasn't sleeping this time.
And then it's like you saw he had that letter. I have something to master. It's like the whole voice change. Are you kidding me? Who is this guy? Elevation.
Stops himself from falling to his death.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, you thought it was game over for me. Nah. Game over for you, motherfucker.
Normally, so whenever Zenitsu's fighting demons on missions and whatnot, he's always whimpering, and if they're in or around him, he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. But this time, he's going into the Infinity Castles. Well, he was transported there, and he's just like, I know where I must go. I feel it's over here. It's like, yo, whoa, this guy's on a mission. Who's gonna stop him?
Totally different.
Nobody.
Was not comic relief at all in this one. And the only comic relief that we did get was those scenes that I mentioned, but also Inosuke. But I wish they had featured Inosuke more, but I know he's not in the story as much during those moments and stuff like that, so I get it. But Yeah, it would have felt nice having him in there.
Just know when part 2's coming out, Inosuke's doing something. He has to if he didn't do it in part 1. Mark my words.
Alright, so that's pretty much it for the Zenitsu fight. Straight fire. Absolutely sick. And now we get to the snooze fest, which is the rest of the movie.
Oof, I wouldn't say that.
Well, half of the rest of the movie is pretty fucking boring. Again, let me take a step back here. I'm saying this because I wasn't watching this in episode form. If I was watching this in episode form and they were delivering story bits after story bit after story bit, I wouldn't mind as much. I'd be like, oh, okay, that's a lot of cool story. I wonder how that story concludes. Oh, I gotta watch the next episode. Better tune in, watch the next episode, see that, so on and so forth, right? But because, like, it was just jammed after we just had, like, 2 crazy fights, like, it just, you know, it just, why? Why would you frame the movie that way? I get the manga is framed that way, but, like, you were making a movie, you knew that. You did it for the first movie where you cut out some bits and you made it feel a lot tighter. Why not do that for this? Like, I just don't get it, man. Like, it just, it straight up bothers me. It felt like, I get from, like, a budget perspective, they're like, alright, well, we can get more budget if we make it as a movie, maybe, so we can spend a little bit more time on the animation, and the animation was crisp. So if that's what it took to get that level of animation, which I don't get because the rest of the show was just as crisp, I found. Like, I didn't find it... Did you find it... As a good talk, did you find it more crisp than the show? You just literally finished binging 2 seasons, so did you find it more crisp than the show? Or did you find it was like the same thing just on the big screen? Because the show is always crisp.
That's why I said it felt like 3 long episodes.
Right, exactly.
You know, in that
but
one
visually,
I'm saying. It was nice.
But was it better than the show, or was it the same thing?
No, it's not
same
the same
thing, right?
I wouldn't say the same.
You think that they improved it?
Of course they improved it. It's on a bigger screen.
No, bro. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the size of the screen. I'm talking about the quality of the graphics. Because sometimes, like, a reason you might want to do a movie is so that you can get more funding for it, so that you can go out on a release, and so you have more time to spend on the graphics. And obviously, they spend a lot of time on the graphics in this thing.
I think they took it up there, bro. Just look at the match with Akaza. Okay. Just the fighting techniques he was showing, the graphics, when he destroyed the house. Like, yes, in the sense that it had the same animations, like, in the show. Like, they put the attention to detail, but in the movie, they had that throughout the whole.
I don't know. You just watched it, so maybe you know better. But, like, I don't know. I feel like the Entertainment District was always crisp. Like, you never had, like, a lot of other animes. You'll have, like, those, like, it looks like they're going at breakneck speed, and, like, everything's kind of blurry, or the details are less there and stuff. They don't ever do that in Demon Slayer. It's always fire. It's always crisp.
But the Entertainment District, was a long episode. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Entertainment District.
The smaller episodes, they don't, like, they'll have some details, or not some details, but the graphics will be
pretty nice.
A long
episode. They had a long episode, and then it was
the action that happened in the Entertainment District.
Yeah.
Like, they had some in between, like, you know, some of the fights, but at the end,
No, there was fights throughout. They were
like, yes,
throughout.
There were fights.
The main fight,
But at the end, that's where you see the most. That's where most of the detail goes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In this movie, it was there throughout all of it. So, like, in a sense, like, they've maintained it and they upkept it and did more. Because that fighting, the kung fu, the martial arts, that alone,
it was sick.
Man, come on, all that.
But I mean, they also had a shit ton of filler in it too, though. Not filler, sorry, nothing was filler. But they did have, like, a shit ton of, like, the backstory and stuff like that, which required less graphics and whatnot. So this is the same thing. It kind of evens out.
Nah.
No?
No. Because, and also...
I guess so. If you're right. Because if this was one season, the amount of fighting that we got to see in one season of the show is more than You're right. All right, fair enough. I'll concede.
And look, think about... It's Infinity Castles, bro. It's constantly
that whole thing,
going
yeah. That's a lot of animation, yeah.
They put in work.
You know what? Even if it was just for, like, the anime artists to have a healthier life, because it's crazy the amount of grueling work that they have to do to get these animes out. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. It's that alone makes it worth it. But yeah, you're right. I will concede on this point. You're right. It was absolutely needed to be. It absolutely needs to be a movie to do it justice.
Crisp.
All right. Now to talk about the part that I liked the least was Tanjiro's story. Because to me, that just dragged out way too much. Like, especially before the Akaza fight, where they weren't focused on him as much and his backstory and stuff like that, which I do feel was a little bit dragged out as well. Like, there was a lot of important stuff. There was also a lot of just what felt like a bit of filler, like maybe 15 minutes of filler or 10 minutes of filler in that backstory. I think that beginning part, like, especially, I was talking before about, like, cutting in, like, the first fight with the second fight a bit more and the second fight with the third fight a bit more. But honestly, if this just would have cut, like, some of this stuff into the other parts, it would have been so much better. And I get it, you know, it might not have been easy because, again, those crows fucking announcing everything throughout. Like, maybe that, you know, I can't remember if specific things happened because of those reactions to that. But they could have found a way, like, especially for that chunk before the Tanjiro fight, because, like, it just, I don't know, it just dragged on way too long for me. And there were some cuts throughout those initial two fights and stuff like that. I know that, but I'm saying it just felt too much. Like, they really needed to do a better job of pacing all of the story throughout the movie instead of those little bits and cuts that we got.
Well, the whole thing about Akaza is because of who he is, and...
But I'm talking about not Akaza yet. I'm talking about, like, the stuff in between, like when they're setting up for the Akaza fight. Where they're running around, where he's like, where they're really getting a sense of like, all right, we're mapping things out, we're doing like, I think Inosuke pops in at one point at that moment too. Like, there was just a lot of filler there before they got to like the Tanjiro Asuka fight.
Okay, that's what you, okay.
Yeah. Because, like, you know.
Okay, I get what you're saying, yeah.
So, fair enough though, I did segue to talk about the Asuka fight. Asuka fight. Akaza, I keep fucking that up. Akaza fight. So yeah, but the fight itself was fire.
Yeah. Next level.
Yeah.
I think, just to talk back to what you mentioned just earlier, I think everything was positioned perfectly in this movie. In the sense to, like, explain and give the sense of urgency and what's going on. You know how you said, like, you felt like there was too much in between before the Akaza and thing fight? I feel like it was...
Needed?
Needed well. Only because it's... They're giving you the whole, like, yes, this movie's taking a while, and then it's like, it's real time for them. We're with them, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is forever. And then they're even losing hope doing this because it even plays on the title of the film, Infinity Castle. So it's like, oh, they're mapping it as if it actually ends, but then it doesn't end. There's more, and then it's a sense of like lost because at that point
they crack it at the end. They know that there's an end, and then they're like, oh shit, we found this out at the wrong time because now he's bringing everything together.
Yeah, but at that point, even I thought, holy shit, they gonna be mapping forever. How many papers they're going through, and that's it. You know, they started breaking
in the other room, like mapping it on the walls and on the ground.
So I was like, oh my god, they think it's the same thing we're thinking. You know, so it really felt like we were in there. That's all I just wanted to add to that part there. You know. So because you have one perspective of the movie, like, yeah, it was a lot of things, but I also have a different perspective on the movie, and I think it was nice.
I know, that's literally why we're two people sitting and talking about this movie. Like, we don't have the same opinion. Yeah,
that's true. Just like that, just a little play on. That's how we do it out here.
But yeah, I've actually have Jordan at knife point. You just can't see it on camera, and he needs to listen to me. But, so one thing that I really did like about this fight was that, kind of to your point about like the middle feeling like, you know, we were in there with them, is that Tanjiro took a backseat in a lot of this, at least at the beginning part of it, right? Like the first two parts, he essentially wasn't really there much at all. And so I really enjoyed that because it allowed the other 2 and 3, 4 characters, good and bad, to really shine and really to get into those characters fully. So that was kind of sick. But what I really did love about this fight, though, was that it wasn't just Tanjiro going up against him. It was the Water Hashira. And not in the box set, but there's also a separate manga that I have that is backstory on the Water Hashira, and he's sick. Like, it's really, really cool. I don't think this is spoiler territory.
No, I got scared for a second. I was
because they won't go into this stuff, but he actually, he was the one who got the Love Hashira, brought her into the fold. Like, and so there's a lot there. So if you haven't checked it out, I don't want to fully spoil it. Did
you just tell me some of that story? It's okay. I'm never gonna read it anyway.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're never gonna go into it unless it's like it's not even big enough for a movie, because like half of that manga is backstory on the Water Hashira / you find out the Love Hashira too, and the other half of it is focusing on Rengoku. So, and he's dead. So, like, so no.
Okay.
And some of that, actually, I'm pretty sure some of the stuff that they featured in the first part, they did include in the show once it wasn't a movie. If I'm not mistaken. I did read both back to back, so I was a little bit confused when I was watching it. But anyways. So that was one of the reasons that I love the fight so much. Seeing them fight together and kind of have each other's backs and pick up where the other one was slacking a little bit was sick. And the fact that they were both water style too was like sick. The fact that he was the guy that brought him into it, that was just beautiful. You got that kind of, that chemistry there between the two of them. There was a lot of great in this movie. And overall, I fucking loved this movie. But I just wish that I saw it in episode form and not in movie form. That's ultimately, end to end. The end was very drawn out. Even if it wasn't episode form, like I would have not been happy if an entire episode was dedicated to what the fuck is this guy's name again? Akaza's backstory. It was just too much. Like, I love the fact that they go into the demon's backstory every time that the demons die, right? That's been a consistent throughout the entire series. But this one just felt like extra. And I know, like, I've seen some videos online and stuff like that of people really going into the details of it, and, like, it is beautiful, his backstory, and it is beautiful. But I feel like I almost missed that because of the fact that it was just too drawn out. Like, it was just too drawn out at the end of a very long movie. The Tanjiro fight, for me, lost a little bit of weight because of the fact that I felt like it was going on too long. So I just would have loved, and I'm still going to love, seeing this in my house, like on TV as episodes, or assuming they do it as episodes, whether it's as episodes or it's in a movie again, I don't care. I'm gonna watch it in chunks.
I think the movie overall was very nice. That final fight was phenomenal. Okay, and just a little side note, Muzan, that's the guy they're trying to kill. Okay, he wants to live in the sunlight, right? So the fact that he's making demons in order to, like, level up himself just goes to show that, okay, yeah, he wants Nezuko for his purpose, but Akaza also mutated to the point where you can't kill him with his head.
That was
gone.
sick. Yeah. And we saw that happen mid-fight. That was
level
sick.
up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think, like, okay, a bad guy's gonna die, whatever, but he's like, I still have more to do. Yeah. This guy was ready. I'm telling you, that's why it was beautiful, because even you get to understand him as an individual a lot more in this movie versus, like, before. Why does he love to fight? Why is he, like, so bent on just using his fists and doing all kinds of styles like that? Oh my goodness, it's
if
deep.
There hadn't already been 3 suicides in this movie, that last one would have felt a lot more impactful. But again, I think if it was in a show, it wouldn't have felt like, oh, this is the 4th fucking suicide that we're seeing now. Like, it would have felt like, oh my god, and it still did. Don't get me wrong. I'm being critical here because this is a review, so chill. But at the end of the day, like, we saw 4 fucking suicides throughout this movie, bro. There's kids in this movie theater, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, and not just, like, what was fucked up is that, like, each suicide, and I get it from a writing perspective, when you're writing it, you don't want to feel like it's mundane and stuff like that, but, like, one killed themselves by drowning themselves. One hung themselves. The other one literally went seppuku, right? And then the last one, like, that was fire. Like, at the end of the day, they didn't actually beat the man. He beat himself. Like, they would have lost. If he didn't decide to kill himself right there and there, they were done. Like, you see them at the end. That was gangster, that pose at the end, where Tanjiro's just on the ground, passed out, and he just has his sword and he's kneeling down, but they're both, like, knocked unconscious. Like, that was sick. But, like, ultimately, we didn't really win that fight.
It's a yes or no.
That now I'm remembering that too, because, like, that was one of the reasons too that I was like, what? But they didn't even. Why would you put that fight? Like, they didn't even win that fight. And I get it. It was, the manga, and you have to follow the sequence of the manga and stuff like that. But, like, man, they should have just really focused on that. The end is really what bothers me, because, like, I was really happy the first 2 fights, and I really had to fucking pee. By the end of Zenitsu's arc, act, or whatever you want to call it, like, that the feeling of peeing was gone. But then it just dragged, and then I was like, shit, I can piss again. But I'm like, is this the right time? Are they going to get into the good shit? Are they going to get into the good shit? And then I stopped having to pee again by the end of it. But, like, that's how long this movie was. Like, it was 2.5 hours.
It was wild.
And, yeah, anyways, those are my thoughts.
It's understandable why you feel that way, and plus you had to pee, so it's gonna like take away from like the movie. You know, I didn't. I was locked in. I was eating. Nom, nom, nom.
Yeah, and it was good that you pointed out part one because like they didn't make that clear enough, and I think if they would have made that clear enough, that would have also helped it too. Like because like it didn't. It was a part one, and it felt like a part one to some degrees because like for example, you see Nezuko get the cure, and we're trying to see like if she's going to heal from being a demon or not. Right, like we get those things that never get an answer. We see Inosuke, we don't see him. We see him like 2-3 times throughout, but like never actually doing anything. Like just kind of being Inosuke.
Waiting to test this power. I'm waiting to see how much you've grown, buddy boy.
Yeah. Is that your favorite character?
No, but I really like him.
Okay. Yeah. No, I love him too. Yeah, he's sick. My favorite. I think this is the first anime where the main character. I really like Tanjiro. But like, there's a lot of other characters that I like more than Tanjiro. Whereas usually I'm like, oh, no. But Naruto is like easy top 3. Even though I love Rock Lee and I love Shikamaru, Naruto is still up there. You know what I mean? Like, but, you know, and this is like, Tanjiro is,
he's cool.
He's a pretty boring protagonist.
He takes
a lot of
L's. He takes a lot of L's.
Yeah, and that's
the good thing about it.
That is one good thing about the show and the movie was that there's a lot of W's and a lot of L's. Like there's both happening at the same time. Like it's not just straight like, oh, training arc, now we're impossible to beat until the next villain comes and then he's OP to us and then we do another training arc and then I love anime, don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on anime for that format. Battle anime, really. Battle manga, however you want to call it. But it really was balanced in terms of wins and losses in this one. And it felt like the stakes were there.
Well, I mean, balancing wins and losses, it just looked like motherfuckers was falling off.
Yeah, you felt?
Well, look, the first chick, she got body.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be real.
Yeah.
The second chick, she looking like she might get body, but we don't know till part 2.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
So, like, it's up in the air. Who knows what happens?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then, you know, Tanjiro's out there. He's doing this thing. He damn near gets body. And I'm thinking, the first thought, I'm like, okay, please tell me he's going to at least somehow survive with some energy to fight. Because I know he just leveled up. But this and now you see him... you know, cool. It was cool. It was nice. They fought together, but he still used kind of fire. He was doing water. And one thing I wanted to mention, remember how you were like, you really liked the Zenitsu fight?
Yeah.
You know how the grandfather pointed out that one could only master the first form, the other could master the others, but he saw a vision of them working together.
Oh, he hoped for it.
He hoped for it. He hoped for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tanjiro and the other one. Because Tanjiro and the water... Hashira, because the other one knows all the forms. He's already like just doing.
Tanjiro's mastered all the forms. Oh no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't mastered all the forms because the guy created some. I think he's the one who created 12. Right? That's what I think they even said that in there. Like, he created 12. But like the fucking Tanjiro's just a gangster. He mastered a whole other fucking style, bro. Nobody can do that.
He did.
Or I think only like they
that's
said
respectable.
only a few people do that.
That's respectable. But I'm just saying
he mastered the OG style. That's where water comes from.
But they mirror each other in that sense.
Yeah,
it's almost like a what if these two didn't work together, but these two are working together. Look at what they're accomplishing, taking down this.
That's interesting. Yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's.
You know what's funny? This might be too late, but like I think you just made me like the movie a bit better. So it wasn't that comment. It's the comment before that where you're talking about how like you felt maybe there was a bit too much losses, but like for me, I was like, no. You just kind of convinced me like shit. No, they needed to have that many losses. It needed to kind of like feel like, and that wasn't necessarily my problem with the movie, but. It didn't feel great for the ending, but this is Infinity Castle. This is supposed to feel hopeless, you know? It is supposed to feel the highest stakes possible. This is, we're coming to an end on the anime, right? So it's like, I get it. All right, that made me feel a little bit better about it. Thank you, Zilla.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
You know, it's just what it is. You know, it's a different perspective sometimes that helps you see. Mm-hmm. The movie was phenomenal.
Yeah, and speaking of perspectives, we want your perspective. So hit us up in the comment. Tell us, was I too harsh? Was he too harsh? Was he too soft? Was I too soft? You let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, but check it off to recommended because we talk about a lot here. We talk about everything from anime, comics, TV, movies, video games, and TCG. So we're stacked. So to get what you want specifically, hit that recommended. All right? Until next time, keep it geeky.
Later.